There are numerous television shows, web pages, books depicting the paranormal, giving instruction on how to contact the dead, and spirit guides and other occult practices. Media propaganda has caused a fury of obsessed individuals and even children who are looking to become a success in the paranormal world. What we don't realize is that we are opening doorways to places that we should not be going in. The paranormal craze has taken a new height because of shows about psychics and ghost hunters. Now the children are getting involved in ghost hunting and thinking that it's cool.
Are you ready for the ultimate out-of-body experience?
This is very scary.
Lock the doors, grab your gear. Every single episode, every thrilling investigation, every night.
We need to take a look at the dangers of chasing the paranormal. Why do we have such a fascination with death and ghosts? Wow, so many argue that ghosts are merely superstition. The most logical place to go to get the facts about supernatural things is the Bible, the one authority about things that cannot be seen or explained by natural earthly laws. And indeed, the Bible does indicate that paranormal activity and interest in the spirit world would increase at the very end of time. Even more alarming, the Bible warns that these spirits will lure multitudes into worldwide deception. One of Satan's greatest threats is to trick us to believing that the souls of the dead do not go to heaven or hell. Instead, he wants us to believe they remain here on earth, hidden behind a veil between our physical world and the spiritual domain. Ghostbusters was a huge hit comedy in 1984, and it was the first time ghost hunting was glamorous and made cool. The fact is that Dan Aykroyd has always had a fascination with ghosts and UFOs.
Right, the crystal skulls, and there's been mysticism around your family.
It's entertaining, yes. Yeah, well, my great-grandfather, Sam Aykroyd, who was a dentist in Kingston, was also a psychic researcher. And that's where Ghostbusters comes from. The old farmhouse was where we had seances, and entities would come through, according to my dad and my uncle and my grandmother and grandfather. I never saw any of it, but all that stuff was around sort of subliminally, and we had our own trance medium. He used to go into a trance, his head would go back, and he'd start speaking Mandarin, and he didn't speak Mandarin, he had a grade 12 education.
The whole family was sort of steeped in this, this kind of just accepted fact that spirits do exist and can communicate if you find a talented medium, him or her, who is willing to give themselves up to the controls. And the controls are the entities from the other side that come through. And so that, combined with an article in the ASPR Journal about quantum physics and parapsychology, and my love of old ghost movies from the 30s and 40s, Bob Hope, Abbott and Costello, the Bowery Boys, that sort of, married together to produce the first draft of Ghostbusters.
Guys, and why you think we remain so fascinated with ghosts as a culture?
I'm going to hop right in here and say, go back to Aristophanes, go back to Shakespeare, go back to all of your great writers. Ghosts are just a part of our world. They're a part of our even our sensory perception when they pop through. They've always been there in literature and in culture and in various great movies like The Uninvited and Poltergeist and films that have been made over the years, both in England and America. With what's going on in our culture now in media, television, especially in movies, it's just an accepted part of living on the planet.
Also, radio programs like Coast to Coast and The Darkness of the Edge of Town with Kevin Smith focus exclusively on the paranormal. When people are interested in the topic, then everyone jumps on the bandwagon to supply the public's love for the strange and bizarre. The subject of life after death is something that every person wants to know. Many times people go to psychics to try to find if they can contact the dead. Young people are intrigued by the unexplained and turn to seances, Ouija boards, necromancy, and other forbidden things that the Bible tells us that are dangerous to our souls.
When thou art come into the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not learn to do after the abominations of those nations. There shall not be found among you any one that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire, or that useth divination, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch, or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer. For all that do these things are an abomination unto the Lord. And because of these abominations, the Lord thy God doth drive them out from before thee. Thou shalt be perfect with the Lord thy God. For these nations which thou shalt possess hearkened unto observers of times and unto diviners. But as for thee, the Lord thy God hath not suffered thee so to do.